just finished a really hard workout with Les Mills Combat and Les Mills Pump, and now I'm trying to decide what to do for lunch. So I've decided today that a great lunch following those two hardcore workouts will be kale and eggs. It's one of my very favorite recipes that I've discovered over the last couple of months, and now I'm going to show you how to make it. All of your ingredients: your coconut oil, onion, sweet peppers, kale, eggs, and I also like to use rotel tomatoes with diced green chilies just to give it a little spice. You'll also need to use some sea salt for taste and some crushed peppercorn flakes. What you do is you chop up your onions and your peppers and you wash them really good. And then you add about 1 teaspoon of your coconut oil to your pan, and you add in your onions and your peppers. I like to do this before I get started with the kale and let this cook for approximately 5 minutes, because I do like for my onions and peppers to be done very well, and that way you don't have to cook your kale as long and it stays real nice and bright green, which gives you more of the nutrients. And I also, in with this, do add in a little bit of water so that they can kind of steam a little bit, and I just add water as needed throughout the cooking process. Peppers and onions are cooking, I go ahead and chop up the kale, and you just separate it from the big green stems, because let's face it, nobody wants to crunch down on that big crunchy stem. It's not going to be very tasty. So I just like to separate it from that, and I'll have that ready to go in the pan as soon as my onions and peppers are ready. Now that my onions and my peppers look like they're pretty done, I'm going to go ahead and add in the kale. Now that it's in there, I'm going to also go ahead and add in my salt. I don't normally measure salt, but for your benefit, I did. It's going to be about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to also add in the fresh peppercorns. And then I'm going to cover this and let it cook for just, say, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so the kale has been cooking for about, I guess, 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the rotel tomatoes. And I do like a lot of those, and this is really about 1/2 can. So I'm going to go ahead and add those in and stir that around and let it cook for about another 2 minutes, and then I'm going to put it on the plate. Okay, so now that my kale and peppers and onions and all of my veggies are ready, I've put them on the plate, and it's time to do the eggs. How you do your eggs is up to you. You can scramble them, you can cook them till they're well done. I like mine to be runny on the inside, but that's really just a personal preference, so you can do them however you want to. Here's the finished product. I know some people look at this and say that looks really gross, but I promise you, I thought that when I first saw it, but it is wonderful. You've got your eggs for your protein, which are super, super good for protein. They're like one of the perfect proteins. Plus you have all of your different colors of vegetables, and you have your very good fat, which is in your coconut oil. Okay, there you have it. I know that some people don't, have coconut oil because it is relatively expensive. You can also use olive oil, but make sure that you use either olive oil or the coconut oil, because those are your good fats. And you do need a certain amount of good fats in your diet, but make sure you only use about 1 teaspoon of it when you're cooking this dish. Also, if you do not like kale, you can also do this with spinach. But if you just think you don't like kale because you've never tried it, then I challenge you to try it, because it is wonderful. But if you have tried it in the past and you don't like it, then just go ahead and use spinach, and it will work the same way. So I hope you enjoy. Let me know how you like it. Thanks.